So this last part is meant to be celebratory and I hope meaningful, particularly to Brownlee and his family. MBA has been fortunate to count a Brownlee Currey among its members of the Board of Trust for all but 2 of the past 86 years. Brownlee Currey Sr. joined the board in 1929 and served faithfully during the remainder of his life until 1952. And Brownlee Currey Jr. has continued his family's legacy of service as an active member of MBA's board since 1954. 63 years. It's probably as great a record as Cal Ripken's 2,632 consecutive games. With close to 9 decades of combined leadership, their meaningful contributions to the school have spanned numerous headmasters and an array of political and economic backdrops, but have always focused on ensuring the school's firm financial foundation, the highest standards of academic excellence, and a commitment to building boys into good men. I want you to hear some brief comments from Brownlee's son-in-law.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Ingram, and I'm sorry I can't be with you this evening, but I'm glad to be able to do this video in honor of somebody that has meant so much for our school and so much for me personally, and that is our trustee and my father-in-law, Brownlee Currey. Many of you know Brownlee Currey. Certainly all the board knows Brownlee, and many of the rest of you do. But what you might not know is that Brownlee has served as a trustee or a life trustee for 63 years. That's a long time and longer than I've been on the planet. But we're so thankful for Brownlee. He has been a great guiding light for the school. He's a man of incredibly sound judgment. He's also incredibly generous. There are very few trustees, in fact, anybody that I can think of. There are not many that have been more generous. And most of you know that Brownlee has an incredible sense of humor. In fact, I was just thinking about a few years ago when I was here when he gave an introductory speech before a junior ring celebration. And he started his speech by thanking the grounds crew from Mount Olivet for dropping him off this morning, that morning. And it seemed to fly over the head of a lot of the boys, but all the adults got a good chuckle out of it. Brownlee is 89 years old, but has a lot of gas left in the tank, and I look forward to working with him for MBA for many years to come. I play a lot of golf with Brownlee, and when he hits a particularly good shot, he likes to turn to you and say, "I'm only a promising junior." And Brownlee, I think you will always be a promising junior. You're a delight. You've been fantastic for the school, and you've been a great father-in-law. I love you, and I think we all love you, and we thank you so much for all your service to MBA.
It's really nice to see Brownlee's wife, Anyetta, here, his son, Christian, his grandsons, Peter and Owen, who've graduated from MBA, his grandson, Oliver, who's a senior, and his granddaughter, Charlotte. I have a particularly fond appreciation of Brownlee. When I first interviewed at MBA in 1994, there was a dinner at the Belmead Country Club, and they seated me next to about 5 different people at that dinner. But I only remember sitting with Brownlee, and he's always been kind and generous, certainly to me, but obviously to the school. And I have also some really great memories of sitting down with him and his grandsons, and I know how much he cares for them and his family. So Brownlee, we have a small remembrance for you tonight, some great pictures of your own time at MBA, a book to take home and remember this night. And I was hoping you might come up and just say a couple of words. Please join me in thanking Brownlee Currey.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When I got the invitation, I was stunned and deeply appreciative, and a few days later, I got an email from Jody Johnson, and the email said, "You can talk a long time, you can talk for 5 minutes, or you can not say anything." So I chose the first option. And when I came here, it was $125, and they only had 3 buildings, and one of the buildings was a gymnasium, and that's all it was. There wasn't any classrooms in it or anything. It was just a pure gymnasium. And it was with Brad Joya as headmaster. He's the finest I've ever met or ever been associated with, and I was on the board at Collegiate in New York for 7 years, and many others, but he's the best, and we're deeply appreciative of all you do. Also, the Board of Trust under David Ingram is fabulous and has done a very good job in not only the present but also about the future. I'd like to particularly thank tonight my son, my grandchildren, and my wife Agneta, and thank you very much for everything.
Sometime we'll have him come back and play his musical instrument, which I guess you all have seen, right? With a one-man band. He's an incredibly wonderful person. So thank you, Brownlee.